I love a good yap. Whoa! It's so big. There he is. But we're gonna make it like a little bit like that. Oh, yay! I'm glad you like how it looks. I spent a decent amount of time on it. It really wasn't that long. It really wasn't that long. I'm on Canva all the time. Y'all. So like it was really fine. Is this why you need screenshots? Yes. So welcome to Let Life Be Short, Else Shame Will Be Too Long, which I believe is a quote from Coriolanus. Or an analysis of Solas compared to Shakespeare's heroes. And it's just a couple of Shakespeare's heroes. We're certainly not doing all of them. But today we will be discussing Henry V, Mac Daddy, and Coriolanus. Yeah, Carissa sent me a ton and they were amazing. They're all really, really good shots. Really, really good screenshots. Did I choose 2 Tom Hiddleston shots of these 2 characters? Maybe. Don't worry about it. Let's not focus on it. So, just a heads up. Heads up. This presentation is full of spoilers. It is full of spoilers from start to finish for the entire canon events of Dragon Age, the games, the books, everything. So if you are not okay with potentially being spoiled, please leave and come back later. Please. I don't want you. I can't imagine why Carissa would have solo screenshots. I don't know. Also, another big disclaimer, everything, that's shocking no one, that I have opinions. Everything in this presentation is my opinion and my opinion alone. If you disagree, I don't really care. That's the beauty of opinions. If you don't agree, feel free to tell me. Feel free to chat about it. Let's yap about it. Let's discuss. That's the amazing thing. Let's just all be nice. Let's just all be nice to each other. You know what I mean? Let's just all be nice about it. He's a sad boy. He's a sad boy who committed war crimes. So is Henry V. So I saw that post and was like, I don't think I have any, but I'm sure Carissa could probably single-handedly supply enough. And you know what? She did. Between Carissa and Google, I had more than enough. It was amazing. So there we go. So we're going to start with Henry V. And this is just basically like giving a basis of the character and why I think they relate to each other. And then we're going to get into some quotes and things like that. So, Henry V, considered England's greatest warrior king, he defeated the French, married their princess, and brought a peace that should have lasted decades. I'm currently playing Inquisition for the first time. I'll watch the VOD later, but I'll leave the stream open. Got you, Otterina. Yeah, that's what I put. I was like, please don't be spoiled, but I'm going to be talking about all kinds of spoilers in this. But I appreciate you so much. Thank you for stopping by and saying hi. So great to see you. Two of my goals in life, have people think of me when they think of Kelly Clarkson and Solas. I love it. Brought a piece that should have lasted decades till his silly son screwed it up. So Solas didn't have a son that screwed up the piece, but he won a hard-won battle that should have brought about a lasting peace. It just, he actually ended up screwing it up. But it was unbeknownst to him because he fell asleep before he could see what happened. Solas says, Henry, another great warrior meant to bring about a lasting peace, but after he was gone, everything went to shit. Both hot when Henry is played by Tom. Oh, shoot. Hi, Raspberry. Yes, I'm familiar with you. I know you from Jordan's chats. So hold on. Let me see if we can just change. Oh, you know what? That is a rule that I have in place because of some stuff with Twitch, because I hope you are still able to watch this. I have to have that rule in place because of stuff with Twitch's regulations for me in the Together for Pride shelf. So I have to have that on. Ooh, I'm so sorry, but I hope that you enjoy. Hello. Please stick around and watch, and I hope that you no, you're all good. It's you haven't done anything wrong. It's just a thing that I have to have turned on because of Twitch, because I'm featured in the Together for Pride shelf on the front page. Or sometimes. I'm sometimes featured. I'm not all the time featured. I don't know if I'm on there right now. But they just have things that I have to have. They have settings that I have to have turned on. And that's one of them. So, but I appreciate you being here. Thank you for hanging out. Also worth noting that he spends most of the play highlighting how his lords are his brothers and the familial bond that they share, similar to Solas's relationship with Felisan. I'm not totally sure, Bondu. I'm not 100% on that. I think I'm not 100% on that. Oh, you're very kind. You're very kind, Bondu. Well, and I think... Oh, okay. Thanks, Cypher. Bondu, you're so kind. Thank you. Thank you for that gifted sub. And it gets us closer to an evil Karlach playthrough. Ah, shoot. Dang it. Okay. But when your account is 1 week old, you'll be good to go. You'll be good to go. Yeah. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you being here. If Twitch wasn't so strict about those rules, I would edit it, but yeah. But I remember you. I remember you, and you're lovely, very kind. So yes, of course. Oh yeah. Oh, they can be exempt from verification. Okay, hold on. And then that's okay if I'm on the shelf. Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay, I think I've changed it. Yep, I believe I've changed it, so it should... Let's see if it's saved. Okay. Thank you so much, Tanya. Ah, dang it. Okay, hold on. You can say all chatters say they must have an account and have been following for over a week. Oh, okay. Hi, Jory. I'm figuring this out. I'm gonna figure it out together. We're trying to figure out, I apparently have it set where only chatters who have an account for over a week are able to chat. And I tried to change it where subscribers are exempt from that, and I thought I did, but I don't know that it worked. Oh, okay. I got your text. I thought it was in moderation, but okay. Here we go. Okay, that's the one I did. Maybe it just takes a second to... It's a lot to learn. It is a lot to learn. Okay. So I've refreshed. And then Raspberry, how about you refresh? And then we'll try one more time and then we'll keep going. But thank you. No, I want you to be able to participate if we can figure it out. But I appreciate it. I appreciate your patience. Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Okay, great. But okay, so Solas, sad boy. Henry, sad boy. And I really liked noting that Henry, while saying a speech basically to encourage his soldiers. Dang it. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm sorry, Raspberry, but I appreciate you trying. Thank you. And we will figure this out. And once the 1 week passes, then we will... I think we'll be good. But thanks everybody for helping me try to figure this out. And thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it. We'll make a note with my mods on the back end to try to figure this out as well. Yeah, that's true. Please enjoy the ad-free experience until then. Yes. But I thought it was worth noting that when Henry is, you know, chatting with his soldiers and his lords to try... Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Tanya, that it can't take effect because I'm live. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. That they're... Henry keeps saying, it's us. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. And he's saying all these really inspirational things about how they're close and how they're a family before they go off to potentially die. And I mean, that's true in almost any great speech by a king or a general or a warlord or anything before. Theoden does this too in Lord of the Rings, where he's like, a sad day, a red day. Just inspiring the men to go and die for him, basically. You're basically like, all of those speeches are them trying to make the deaths easier, which is kind of a bummer, but I thought that was worth noting, especially in relation to Solas, who we know that in Veilguard, the sacrifices of battle and of war seem to become a lot easier, frustratingly so. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting similarity that I found between the two of them. So, quotes from both that I thought related to each other. So, in Act 4, Scene 1, King Henry dresses up as dresses down, really, as a regular soldier, and he walks through his camp to basically find out how his soldiers feel about him. He goes very, like, undercover boss, and he goes and sits at a campfire with the soldiers and finds out that his men actually really revere him and really love him and are excited to go and fight this war. And they talk about him, they talk about Henry, you know, not knowing that they're sitting right next to him. They talk about him as if he is higher, as if he is, like, sent from heaven, as if he is this amazing, almost... They deify him, really. That he is the sent from God king to deliver them. And he says, I think the king is but a man, as I am. The violet smells to him as it doth to me. And that really reminded me of Solas saying, I am as I have always been, a man all too aware of his failings. So Solas is maybe a bit more fatalistic than Henry is, or than Henry allows himself to be in front of other people. I think Henry is a bit fatalistic, but he certainly doesn't allow himself to be that way in front of the people that he is leading. He really tries to remain kingly in front of other people. Yeah, I know he says that in Inquisition too. I couldn't find the exact quote, but I could remember the direct quote from Veilguard. I couldn't find the direct quote of Veilguard too, but I could remember it. And I was like, man, I have a problem. Anyway. So that's how I think Solas relates to King Henry. And I think, he says he's grim and fatalistic. Yes, I did find that quote. But I thought in the context of what that quote is, I was like, I think this one might fit better. Yeah. So then we go to Mac Daddy. Now you might be thinking, hey Selena, why are you calling him Mac Daddy instead of his name? It is just a force of habit. It is a force of habit. I cannot. When you are in the theater so often doing Shakespeare, you just don't say this name. Saying his real name in the theater when you're not performing the play is bad luck. And it's bad luck because Shakespeare used real curses and real spells from Mac Father, from a book called Daemonology written by King James. And so people have said that it's cursed. And I will say that once it was said in a theater that I was doing a show in, and we lost all the light cues. And so, it is something I don't believe in a lot of. I have a lot of superstitions, but this is just something I believe in. And so anyway, McDonald's. So Mac and Solas both seized an opportunity to gain power, and both were reluctant and racked with guilt, regret about their decisions. And they both also had women in their lives who pushed them towards this outcome. So I'm specifically talking about Solas when way back in the day, when he gained a body with Mythal and figured out how he could separate the Titans from their dreams and therefore make the elves basically all powerful in the world. Basically remove any sort of competition for dominion over, Thetis, pre-Thetis. Elvenon, basically. And similar to Solas, Mac Daddy had a woman in his life, his wife, pushing him towards this outcome and basically saying, you have this opportunity. These witches told you that it was going to happen, but there's only so much faith that you can put in divine intervention, so you got to make it happen. And there's only so much that I can do to help you because I'm a woman, so you got to make it happen. And then I put Selena pause here and talk about women being evil. This is a good time for that. So, listen. I love Lady M. I love Lady M. I think she's an excellent role. I think that her lines are incredible. I thought that it was amazing and wonderful of Shakespeare at the time that he was writing this to say, this woman is going to be the one who's really pulling the strings. And not to say that that absolves... Oh yeah, worth noting that while Mathal and Lady M may have given their men a push to do evil things, I do not believe this absolves them of any guilt. Them boys still did it. Right? So it's not to say, well, without Mathal, Solas, it's all Mathal's fault. I don't believe that. Or it's all Lady M's fault. I don't believe that. It's all Padme's fault. I don't believe that. They have free will. It's really easy to look at a partner and be like, well, if, you know, XYZ, if they hadn't done XYZ, or if they had done XYZ, then maybe their partner wouldn't have done XYZ. And it's like, but they can make their own decisions. Mathal is evil and abusive and the worst ever to the poorest innocent boy. And yes, that hurt me to type. I mean, listen. Mathal is not nice. And I don't like Mathal. However, Solas has free will. And he could have... Exactly. They, at any point, could have said, I'm done. And, you know, Mac Daddy he tries to say it. He tries to be like, nope, I'm done doing this. And then she breaks out one of the best speeches ever written in modern literature and convinces him. But, so much like how Mac Daddy is haunted by the ghost of Banquo, Solas is haunted by the ghosts of all of his regrets. Physically as well. Absolutely. 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 They both harmed people. They both, yeah. And I think it is reductive and harmful to they're toxic together, to women to say, to like not allow them to be evil. They can absolutely be evil. I think it becomes harmful when it's like, well, it's all Padme's fault, or it's all Lady M's fault, or it's all Mathal's fault. You know what I mean? It is always somewhere in the middle. But to say, like, you're only blaming her because she's a woman, that's just objectively not true. And I think that takes away some of their agency. Because they absolutely are capable and able, clearly, of being that awful. So when it comes to women and female villains, I'm a fan. I especially love it when that villainy and that evil is motivated by something that is purely a part of the human experience, the overarching experience, like it's a motivation that a person who couldn't get pregnant can experience. You know what I mean? Like, what I don't love, what I grow weary of is villainy that is motivated by, because it feels like that's the only thing that, sometimes it feels like that's the only thing that can motivate a woman to be evil, is something to do with her kids or something to do with that. And I think women are so much more multifaceted than that. And I'm saying women as a catch-all for, and when I say that, I mean like trans women, I mean AFAB, I mean, you know, anything. If you identify as a woman, it is neither here nor there for me to say. I'm not the judge or jury to decide whether or not you are one. If you say you are one, then great. And if you believe that you are one, then I am talking about you in that context, in this context of like women, right? So just know that when I say women, that is what I mean. And I think there's so much more multifaceted than just the only thing that can push a woman to evil is something to do with her kids or something to do with. That is a unique experience. I think there is something to be said about creating a life, but there are men who can get pregnant too. So, you know what I mean? We live in this new world, and the nuance is just more than it's ever been. But yeah, so that's how I think Solas relates to Mac Daddy. And here's some quotes. So he says, lay on Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, hold enough. So this is Act 5, Scene 7. This is when they're getting ready to fight. And Macduff is leading the opposing army. And then we're getting close to that horrible, awful loophole of no man born of a woman may kill you. And Macduff was like, I was from my mother's womb untimely ripped. And it's like, okay, well, whatever. And then Solas, of course, when next we meet, let it be standing over Elganon's body. Which I just love that quote. But so next, and in the context of all of this, I don't, like, we didn't see, here, hold on, let's go back a little bit. We didn't see Mythal a ton in Henry's story. I don't know that, like, there's really a replacement for Mythal here. We do see her here. This is his wife. And then we see her again in Coriolanus' story with, in my opinion, with his mom, Volumnia, Coriolanus' mother. So, and this is more towards, I should have put these in timeline order, I guess, but this is more towards like Inquisition Solas, because and we'll see why in a second. Coriolanus is a Roman general who fought extremely hard. For a war victory, he's encouraged by his mother to run for consul when he gets home. But thanks to the scheming of other senators, the plebeians are very vocal in their opposition. He then becomes incensed with the Roman public and rails against them, laying siege to Rome. So, yikes. But he basically has such disdain for the plebeians, and he's like, I know how to run this country, and I can do it better, and they don't know. And so if they're not going to listen to me, and they don't think, and I know better than them, then, and they can't accept that, then I'm just gonna kill them. Which, if we remember what Cole says about why Solas killed Felisan, where he says he killed them because he thought they were people. The slow arrow breaks in the sad wolf's jaws. It is honestly my greatest fear. I honestly didn't even want to post this on Blue Sky because it is my greatest fear, Carissa, that this will somehow find its way to people who wrote for Solas or who wrote for Dragon Age, and it will somehow trickle down and find its way, and then they'll be like, who is this bitch talking about? So that's why I don't know. It's just me. It's just musings. It's just something fun that I did. I don't know. But yeah, hi Danny. Okay, I hope that they would. But I'd rather see it end up with Trick than that side of the Soul of Ellen fan. That's true, but also bring it on. I wish a bitch would. But yeah, so he's like, fine, if you won't, I know what's best, and if you can't accept that, you have forfeited your right. And his mother, Volumnia, tries to keep him calm and encourages him to make peace with the plebeians. She's like, hey, everything's fine. We can make this better. Like, we can fix it. Everything's chill. And then Coriolanus says, why did you wish me milder? Would you have me false to my nature? Rather say I play the man I am. And so he's like, why? Why should I behave any differently? I am who I am, and why do I have to pretend? And then Solas in Dragon Age Inquisition, when talking about Dalish and city elves, he says, why would it benefit some poor man in a Ferelden alienage to learn that his ancestors strode the land like gods? It would only make him bitter or inspire him to take a foolish risk and get himself killed. So I think this just kind of shows, it's not exactly like a one-for-one quote for sure, but I think it shows Solas's, I feel like disdain is too strong of a word, but maybe frustration with modern day elves, the same way that Coriolanus is very frustrated with the plebeians, where he's like, I don't give a shit what they have to say. And Solas, especially when talking about Dalish elves, is like, I don't care. At least it seems that way. He really doesn't seem that much, which is frustrating. And Mythal, similar to Volumnia, is like, hey, so you can't just kill them all. We gotta figure out a way. We gotta figure out a way to make this work. We gotta figure out a way to make this work. Because... So... Yeah, that's how I think Solas lines up with Coriolanus. I also just really like the screenshot. And here we go. These are some Carissa shots. If you have a Solas who is on poor neutral terms with Llewellyn, it highlights your point even more. And I found a lot of quotes from that because my Llewellyn was like really high approval with him for a long time, and so I didn't get a lot of those dialogue choices, but I was reading them and I was like, whoa, Bro is not pleased. He is not stoked. Yeah, but like, look at these. I love this outfit. So yeah, I wanted to open it up to the floor. Which one do you think matches best? I think they all kind of fit for different reasons. I don't think that there's one that's like, I think Solas is, personally, I think Solas is like, of those three is like an amalgamation of those. But yeah, Coriolanus, I like that one too. I was freaking out. Ah! I also just love Coriolanus as a play. I think it's fascinating. And I think it's very fun to dive in as like an actor and a director to kind of decide what relationships you really want to play up in that, with hints of the other two. Totally. I think that Solas wants to be Henry V, but I think he definitely leans more towards Coriolanus with hints of Mickey D's. Reread all these plays, which I honestly should. They're great. It highlights his Fenrirel side. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree. I'm really glad that you guys liked those ones that I picked, especially Coriolanus. I think Coriolanus is one of the last plays that Shakespeare ever wrote, so sometimes it kind of gets lost. I'm gonna snooze this ad just so maybe we can discuss a little bit more before. But then, but here's my point. I actually don't think any of them. I bet you didn't see that coming, did you? Bum bum bum. And he wants to be Solas, but he is Fenrirel and has been since he stopped being a spirit. I think that's a really good point, Nelly. I think this little elven bitch is straight up Hamlet. So here's the thing. There's no perfect copy paste of Solas in Shakespeare because he is singular and, in my opinion, so well written. He is honestly an amalgamation of all these characters. We're just going to put that out there. But here are my arguments for why he's Hamlet. He's unable to move on from what he's lost, and it literally haunts him. It literally haunts him all through Veilguard. Anger at the betrayal of his mother, Methal, for marrying his uncle, Elgrenad. He has a lover who would sacrifice anything for him, and she eventually does. All she wanted was to be a part of his life, and he consistently shut her out. So there's my argument. There's my argument for Hamlet. And, you know, I, of course, had to choose a picture of one of the greatest to ever do it, Laurence Olivier. But yeah, of course, at the end of the day, I definitely believe this part, that he's for sure an amalgamation of all of them. But our boy is just so in his feelings all the time. And he waxes poetic. He even... Okay, but what about a Forever Alone Solas? I can see that. I would still argue Hamlet. Just take this part out. He has people who would sacrifice everything for him, who would do anything for him. And they eventually do. What do you mean? I don't know of this reality. I didn't even know that was possible, Nelly. What do you mean? That he can end up alone? In what world? My first time playing it was in Kunari. Oh, oh my god. So with Solas? He's not nice. He's not nice about the Kunari. So yeah, he would be forever alone if you were playing a Kunari. all women. Solas, come on. Oh, it's a young Lawrence pick. Hey, Barry, how are you? Look how handsome. He's so handsome. He directed this film and played Hamlet. What a G. What a G. All right, we're gonna snooze one more time because actually we're almost done with this presentation. I know, what a stud. So there's my argument. References my brain, so some information may be inaccurate. Google, sans AI help. I did not get any help with AI. And then Solas photos provided by, of course, the lovely Carissa. Thank you so much. This is a Carissa photo. This is a Carissa photo. This one is so good. I'm like, so yeah, there you go. That's what I think. So I like this. I really like this discussion of Solas with Coriolanus. So, oh wait, there's one more. Thanks. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. There was one last slide of like any questions. If y'all had any questions for me. I don't know that you did, but if you had any questions, you definitely can ask. But yeah, I really like this whole Solas Coriolanus line. So we might dive into that a little bit more before the end of August, because I kind of want to stay in the realm of, in like the same realm during the month. And then I'll put up like a poll in the Discord for which one we want to discuss next month. I don't know. My mind is like flipping through different. How much time did you take to do all your research? Was this mostly from memory? It was mostly from memory. I verified some things. I verified some things where I was like, I think this is what happened. And then I was like, let me double check. And then I was like, yeah. And then I went on like Royal Shakespeare Company to make sure that I got the quotes correct. This is Asimov's Guide to Shakespeare. Fave Olivier quote, "The art of persuasion. The actor persuades himself first and through himself the audience." Yeah, I love that one. I love Laurence Olivier. He's one of the greats for obvious reasons, but one of my favorite stories about Laurence Olivier is he was doing a film with Dustin Hoffman, and Dustin Hoffman, I don't know that I've ever like gotten into why, but I don't really care for method acting. Kirsten Dunst described it best. She said that she thinks only men excuse me, she thinks only men can afford to do method acting. The Hoffman story, okay, you know it, right? I don't really care for method acting. And it was a type of acting style that was started by Stanislavski, Konstantin Stanislavski. And then even he came out and said, it's a little ridiculous and unnecessary, and we don't need to do that. And so I think even when the guy who basically invented it is like, it's a little unnecessary. then it's probably not something that you have to do. But the Dustin Hoffman story, for those who haven't heard it, is they were doing a film together, Laurence Olivier and Dustin Hoffman, and Dustin Hoffman's character had to stay up for 3 days in the movie. And so Dustin Hoffman stayed up for 3 days to like prepare for his scene. And he was like complaining that he was so tired and blah, blah, blah. And he explained to Laurence Olivier why he was staying up. And Olivier said, "My darling, haven't you tried acting?" And I'm just like, let's go. So, yeah, he's pretty great. He's an icon. And he is the moment. And there's a statue of Olivier outside of the National Theatre in London. I think it's him dressed as Hamlet as well. So it's really cool. It's Olivier's performance of Heathcliff made me read Wuthering Heights. Yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing. But yeah, so there's my little thing on Solas. So maybe if he will, so I'm not going to be streaming next Friday. We're not done, by the way. I think I'm going to do some Baldur's Gate. But I'm not streaming next Friday, so no Shakespeare next Friday. But the following Friday, maybe I'll expound upon Coriolanus a little bit. Because that's what I thought too. My initial thought, I was like, if I could like compare him, if I could compare thee to a summer's day, if I could compare him to anybody in Shakespeare, I think it would probably be Coriolanus. And then, of course, I dove into it, and I was just like, so maybe Nolly, though, made a really good point of, like, what about Forever Alone Solas with Hamlet? So there we go. Maybe Solavellan Solas is Hamlet, and then maybe Forever Alone Solas is Coriolanus. So I like that. So we'll expand upon that and finish out August with that. And then do some research on what we're going to do for September. And I'll put in a vote for that in the Discord. Just as a heads up for September, so that nobody gets too disappointed. This will not be the setup in September. I will be traveling. So we'll be moving setups. We might have to edit what kind of games we're playing, things like that. And it will be a bit of an adjustment period as I make some changes and get OBS ready. So it will look different for about a month, but I do plan on streaming. And Forever Alone Solas is just as compelling, but very different. I agree. Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. But yeah, I'll be traveling in September, but I do plan on taking a setup with me, a streaming setup with me, to be able to continue to play and stream, because this is a big part of how I make money now. So, yeah. And on that note, I'm going to take a quick break, and we're going to play some Baldur's Gate 3. So, here really quick before, I'm going to just, there's my computer display. Great. Get rid of that. And then, if I can do it too, but if one of the mods with editor status wants to just change up the stream info, we're gonna do the trio run. Let's see part of that. Well, we're gonna, VOD will be available, Danny, and we're gonna edit it and put it on YouTube. So don't you worry. Yeah. Aw, I'm glad y'all liked it. Thanks for lurking, Carissa. I appreciate it.
Bye.